You guys can see like the words that have generated for us so far. I don't see anything that is relevant to either of the two spaces.
I thought I heard "Who are you?"
It's very interesting. So I will tell you that this particular location, I come through here every single night before I meet with you guys just to let Eliza know who's coming.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but let's put it this way. I was getting very rude people on your guys' end of things, like, yo, Eliza, let's do this, and then they go take a leak in the corner. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I was getting very nasty messages coming through that were not radio chatter. So I decided to give the space a break because I do change this up every year. I take out one space, add a new one. This is the one I was going to retire, but I kind of came in and make amends with Eliza.
Yeah.
Just sat with her for like an hour before a tour one night and said, I'm going to be coming back, but I will let you know who's coming if I know their names and how many people at minimum. So every night from the office, I cut through here and just let her know Meg and Michael are coming. Is it Mike or Michael?
Yeah, either one.
So I told her Mike. So
that's okay.
I was like, Meg and Mike are coming through, and they're the only two folks that I have tonight. I'll see you shortly. And I just keep walking.
Nice.
But I do it every single night before I meet with you guys.
Yeah.
I will still wait on this to see like the full explanation because I can see like you want to get to work. Like you're very eager. So I kind of want to see what's going on with our... See if we had any images show up from Big John's. Looks like we had a couple. So we got a couple of shadow folks. I don't know who they are. Definitely some type of gas lantern when we're near the big red barn. Makes sense.
Right.
Yes and no. This one I'm gonna have to look into.
Okay.
And then that's the first one that we saw. So I definitely want to see, but this one I'm actually pretty excited probably the most about this one.
Yeah.
Because we were right next to the big red barn when that occurred.
Exactly.
And not to mention we got, I don't want to say that they're red, they're definitely brown in this picture.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited about that, believe it or not. So I'm going to keep this going just to kind of see if anything's going to pop up. And I just got a reading of 3.9, which is good. So let me write down that. And let's take a quick lap. You scream out whatever you're hearing. Nice slow movements on there. Have you hit the record button, right?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
So any crazy anomalies show up in there, we're going to analyze it and kind of see what's going on. And take things from there. So let's just kind of do a quick round robin. Okay. It's all about Meg right now. You're the star of the show.
Get him, Meg.
So, am I to assume like you two are, you said boyfriend in a text message this
Yes.
morning, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one night I actually said something like, is it okay if I blindfold your wife? He's like, that's my sister. I'm like, oh shit. Like, I was making a joke about it, not realizing it was going to be a bad joke. Nice slow movements. Definitely no rush. Eliza, I'm using this new box again tonight. You can show us whatever you want to show us. That's the beauty of it. You want to not talk to us at all, that's okay too, but I would like to see some kind of imagery here. Any pictures you want to show us at all.
Churchill.
That's interesting. As in like Winston Churchill?
Oh, the time.
I can't make this shit up.
Where?
The image I just showed you.
That's wild.
Something about a lamp you want to tell us about, Eliza, or is that coming from...
hello.
It's good that you heard hello and not hi. You also have to remember, like, know your ghost. Like, this woman's from the colonial days. She's not going to be telling us hi, how are, you know, how's it going. Yeah, she's not going to be doing that shit. Man, that girl just ranked it. What did she say that she heard before hello?
Churchill.
Churchill, that's good, thank you. Eliza, you can use these lights. Seeing how I just turned one on. You can turn one on before we reach it. That would be great.
It's like that though.
So it's gonna pick up anything that's in front of something else.
Right.
So that's why it's a lot of debunking, because this sign with the post in it is in front of the building in the distance. It's gonna try to
think
put a
it's
figure on it.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Christian. What?
It'll always try to pick up wrought iron too, which is all over Charleston, so just kind of be aware of that.
Okay.
It'll also pick up our shadows,
Okay.
because it's an absence of light.
All right.
Little kids always say, "There's somebody laying on the
Jesus.
ground." I'm like, "No, that's your shadow, little buddy."
Deborah.
Deborah. We're getting somewhere. Who the hell's Deborah?
Rainbow.
Rainbow and Deborah. Eliza, what color out of that rainbow do you want us to focus on? And who is Deborah? It's a name we don't normally hear.
Christian again.
We get a lot of religious terms here. The vests are new for me.
I like it.
The wife said, "Your t-shirts get too raggedy too quick. Let's get you something a little bit more professional."
Yeah.
She's my graphic designer, basically.
Alright.
So
You need that.
yeah, well, those are her bachelor degrees, so she wants to use them.
Whatever.
That's okay.
Lastly.
So she actually created my logo from scratch, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone do it.
Yeah. If I need something crazy like a podcast image or whatever, then I just text her the image and say, "Fix it, make it. This is what I want."
Field.
I like field. What kind of field are you talking about, Eliza? You're picking up a lot of terms that aren't making a lot of sense to me right now. You're supposed to be focused on your death tonight. You want to tell us maybe what month you died in? That'd be something easy for you to grab. I can't even make out what this is. Sometimes it's completely rando and you have no idea. Still excited about this one the most. What else you got? Come on, Meg. See how focused she is.
She's in the zone.
I see that. She can't even hear me right now.
No.
You can
She
say
got
anything you want
both
to.
plugs in.
She'll hear it on the voice recorder
Yeah,
later.
good point. I gotta be careful.
She's turning it down. Eliza, do you want us to go? Surprisingly, I wasn't getting any major readings.
It's a good camera. It's a good camera.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, this is sweet.
With it being used every night, I wanted to make sure it had bumpers on it.
Yeah, smart. So it doesn't drop.
But even because my thermal camera is a phone,
Yeah.
because it's a FLIR attachment, and there's only certain phones that can take it, but one of them is a construction phone.
Yeah.
So I even still put regular rubber case around it,
Yeah,
even though it's been dropped. I can't tell you how many
Oh,
times.
sure. Even this, like with these, it's easy to hold it. Like.
Well, I normally give that to a little kid. I'll be
Yeah,
honest, because
yeah.
Turn your up. There's
stroll slowly. 'Cause I haven't done anything, which is odd for this space. I normally will get like almost triple digits here.
Really? What's good? What's considered good?
2.5, then back down to 0 very quickly.
Okay.
Anything above that.
Family
Okay.
loves us.
So like I said, these are all coming off the earth.
Right.
It's just random.
So if it goes to like 2.9 and then drops to 0.
Correct. Like I'm excited about that.
There's
because
3.1, 3.6.
Okay, I'll take that. Because again, if it was coming from a man-made object, it would be like 3.1, 2.8, 2.4.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would kind of 4.4. Now we're getting somewhere. You said 3.1, and I saw the 4.4. Come on, Eliza. You know how this box works. Just go a little closer to us. 35.3. Thank you, Eliza. I mean, 35.3 and then back down to like 0.6.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's
a hit.
good, yeah.
Like that's a massive hit.
Okay.
The average spike for this space is about 18 and 22.
Okay. So that's a real good one. Yeah.
The highest I've ever seen this go has been here, ever, in my 11 years.
Like I
of
can hear
posting.
like a female voice, it's just hard to make out.
It's funny that she says that at the same time we got a massive hit.
Yeah.
Eliza, do you want to get close again? Eliza, get close again. That's why I call it ghost hunting. You gotta keep moving.
You gotta hunt them.
Eliza, you want us to leave? We've been here a little while. Is this enough activity for you for one night?
I feel like I keep hearing don't.
That would be kind of our cue.
Should I shut this off for now?
Yeah, go ahead. So again, when I'm, by that top handle, so if other tours come down here, they usually cut through like where the ivy is. There's actually a stairwell right there. Okay. So they'll come in through there, or they'll come in the exact same way that we came in.
Okay.
So I'll just be kind of mindful, like, hey, Andy's coming, like from Toy Story, kind of thing. Just
Right,
keep you aware. But this place is Philadelphia Alley. Yep. You just heard the word alley?
Yeah.
Welcome to my world, brother. Every day. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. So this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal and they had to find hiding spots. This happened to be one of them. So don't ever let a tour guide tell you that all the duels were held down here. That's not the case.
That's what I remember, yeah.
Yep, most people will. Some of them. Dueling was illegal. They had to hide. So it was a big event. But anyway, so they all tell the same story down here. Again, I'm giving you different details, so here it goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We hear it all the time. It's part of his name. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's got to be that specific lyric. But he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he comes down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her cash. He's going to start his medical practice here. So as he's coming into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here in Charleston, but somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he knew the coachman. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop there for a second. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. We were getting the letters all the time on your device of RI, and I wanted to make sure we had the legitimate thing. So I actually bought a new device. It's called an Envoy. It's basically a digital Ouija board. So what it does is it uses EMF fluctuation to see, and it stops the cursor on a letter so we can either spell things out or look for initials or messages or clues in there. I can't tell you how many times we've had the letters RI show up whenever I bring up Ralph's name. Obviously, we're not using that device tonight because it's not always productive. I'm still teaching the ghost on how to use the damn thing, even though I've had it for probably nearly a year now. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. I got friends there that'll rent you a room and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer. They're good to go. The two guys are friends now. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's cash flow. So Amanda gets wind of this, and she's coming down because he's proving his point. They're going to get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city has a cliched whistling ghost. Ours just happens to be a doctor. We're going to talk about the whistles here in just a minute. So I'm sure you've heard every tour guide tell you to listen for the damn whistles, right? So we're going to talk about that in just a minute because it is a thing, just not the way they explain it. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. So he has better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare, and they're arguing on the way home about an actress that they saw. She was new in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. Kind of a dick move, right?
Yeah.
So they start arguing and they go their separate ways. But I already told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. The doctor saw the ad but rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this shit and somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air. I was shocked. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor didn't die either, but he drops to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. So, two things you need to realize. Refuse medical treatment. Why? It's 1786. Gunshot wounds were a lot different back then. So, he's a doctor. He probably just tried to bleed it out, thinking it was just lead poisoning. But he failed, because he died. So, again, it was during the time frame of Halloween, so I do tend to see a little bit more activity around that time. But I do get a lot of activity around his birthday, which I'm not going to tell you what that is, because it normally pops up on your end almost on a weekly basis. So, every tour, like I said, will tell you, listen for the whistles. Cool thing for us, we have two devices right now listening for us. So, we have your camera, which is obviously recording audio at the same time, plus my voice recorder. If a whistle is going to show up in an audible format like that, it'll be on one of these two devices. You don't need to use your own ears, right? The second thing is, we do get the word whistle and or whistling parts of songs along with the word doctor immediately after it. So, take that for what it is. Like you hear the Moves Like Jagger song,
Yeah.
doctor will be on the next commercial of the next radio station. I can't tell you how many times it's actually happened. So take that for what it is. I will tell you, if you're going to try this on your own because you're going to be in town for a few days and walk all the way through here and try the voice recorder from your phones, I already told you I can't take you all the way through because I've been kicked out of here. But if you're going to walk through on your own, check those voice recorders later, but keep in mind, every local knows the story. So everybody walking down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single morning when I'm done with your data because we passed my garage and my office is this way, which means I have to pass the alley, and I always throw a whistle since I got booted out of here. Here's the fun part of the story. Mike's like, oh good, this guy actually gets in trouble. So here's how this goes. The alley, this will also show you how I piece all the history together on some of these locations like this. The alley didn't always come all the way through from the way we came in. There was a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is another reason why I stopped here at the gate. So I actually came out here and did measurements, where was it? So about halfway. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So cows and chickens were running around in here. This used to be called Cow Alley before it was Jeweler's Alley. So just kind of keep that in mind. But what does that mean for you? On the other end of the alley, those bricks down there are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks at the end are sun-dried bricks from slave children, which means those slave kids literally had to turn those bricks one by one to bake them. Now, at the end, about 14 bricks in from the edge, there is a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks, and fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my group all the way through here, and I would always point out that handprint because we all need to see it, no matter the diversity of my group, right? How far did we come away from slavery? However, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid on a paranormal activity, right? He's probably sitting at home with his mama, right? November 26th, 2020. My entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the gadgets that I handed out. I'm trying to shoo them along because I'm trying to be respectful to not only him and nothing's going to happen, but also to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. It's right outside the kitchen window. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter was on the tour. She thought it was hysterical because Dad's getting yelled at. She was about 13 at the time. That's my youngest daughter. But anyway, she thought it was great. My entire team and I, we just moved on, right? So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I actually worked in retail management for a good part of 20 years for the biggest retailer in the world. I don't do Thanksgiving. You guys can put two and two together on that one, right? You're like, yeah, screw that, man. Yeah, upper management to boot. Like, you talk about all those like fights and all that stuff on Black Friday. I was usually the guy that had to organize the store, like because of my. Anyway, we won't get into that. So I don't tour on Thanksgiving. Now, the next day was November 28th of 2020. The dates are relevant. So I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. He's laughing just like my daughter did, and he said, "Dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, you got to reroute the group." So I decided I'm going to reroute the group. Here's what I told them. I don't believe in the next story. I've never had anything happen there with my gizmos and gadgets because I've been there dozens of times, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person.
Yeah.
We're obviously discussing pirates next. So that's kind of what happened. So before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating, the famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get around the corner, I tell them what little bit I did know about pirates in Charleston, which wasn't much because I only had a day to research, and I'm not a pirate person. Somebody else heard the number 300 on their spirit box. I don't know what that one means. I wrote it down. I did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
That's crazy.
You say it's crazy. I was pissed. Here's why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I need facts and data when I'm doing this, right? So the problem with pirates is that pirate stories come from pirate lore that were written 100 years after the alleged events. That's my problem with it. Even when I'm writing fiction, I still like facts and data to be able to twist it and make a fictional story out of it. So everything we're about to talk about at the next location, it came from a minimum of 2 resources. That was kind of my criteria. I've read dozens of books on pirates, including Anne Bonny, all in the mix of that, to try to make sure that the stories I'm telling you guys are legit. So it is a 50-50 shot. Remember, we're going to hopefully get bleed over from this location. We don't get a whole lot of EMF in here, which is why I've been pulling this out. It's probably for my movement. I normally expect a 7 or higher because of the lampposts, but again, we're going to be investigating that space just like what we did at the Pinky Mansion site, but hopefully you're going to get terms, and hopefully you guys can listen in together when we get over there. But I'm definitely going to be using this over there. There's a 3.5, pretty steady. I do want to take a look at the images. Oh, the gate, before we leave. So the gate behind me, remember I told you that the alley didn't always come all the way through from the way we came in? In the event there was a loser to a duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall, which is St. Philip's Cemetery, right? So otherwise, if they didn't have this doorway, the dead body, the loser of the duel, they'd have to carry him all the way to the end and then double back with the dead body. Like, that's heavy weight,
Yeah.
right? Before they could go celebrate the winner. So I like to call this the Death Gate, just because the wrought iron wasn't here, that's early 1900s, but the archway you can see is definitely part of the wall. So there's other rumors. I don't know what that means. That's a whole lot of nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Another house. We're getting a lot of houses tonight.
Yeah.
A family from the 70s.
Big family.
Oh.
Hey, look, I'm Brad.
Well, where did the redheaded children come from?
Right.
Very weird. And then back to our creepy hands. Okay, so a whole lot of nothing came out of that. Let me check the word list real quick, and then we'll go up and around the corner and kind of see what's going on with our crazy... Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. You can stretch those out. Again, they stretch out pretty far. That way you guys don't have to butt heads as you're walking. You guys ready to learn about some crazy pirates?
Yeah.
Any of your tours prior ever talk about pirates?
I always hear about it, like especially here, like I don't like pirates. I don't think there's anything like interesting about it.
On there as well, so I'm going to look into the history of Charleston on this specific day because I do have the almanacs, and kind of see if there's anything specific to the doctor or to where we're standing right So other tours will come through here, so just be kind of cognizant of that, Mike, when they do come through. Just
Okay. Don't film them.
yeah, I mean, you're obviously doing a great job tonight. It's going to get you a lot of footage to be watching
Yay.
later. The cool thing for you guys too is I send those videos to YouTube, so you guys can watch them however you want. You can watch them on your TV,
That's cool.
your tablets, your phones,
Yeah.
whatever. So we're here because of this little tiny building right here. Do you know what this is, Meg?
The powdered.
Right, it's the powder magazine.
Yeah.
So it held gunpowder for 7 different wars. So those are not crosses on the building. Has anybody ever told you what those were?
No.
I think my wife actually had the same mod that you're using right now. Is that a disposable or is that an actual mod?
Yeah, disposable.
Disposable.
It just looked very similar.
Hides.
So this building, those are not crosses because those are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts, as you know, are turnbuckles that run through certain buildings. And if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we haven't, you can tighten them. You can take a big giant wrench to those and tighten it on both sides, and it's supposed to hold the building together so it doesn't incur any further damage. This building behind us, the apartment building, also has them, and it has them on both sides. So they basically have turnbuckles running over each other on a crisscross to kind of keep it together. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So, I mean, imagine a turnbuckle holding a building together when it's already cracked from an earthquake. That shit ain't gonna work. Californians laugh their asses off at me whenever I get them on the tour because they know it doesn't work. We have much better technology today. I bring those up because that's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. You're gonna see them all over town, and tour guides are gonna point them out all over. They're in lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. The reason why these are the first set is because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. They wanted to make sure it was going to be protected. So we're here is because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, Mike, is on the TV shows they'll use like a teddy bear with a K2 meter in there, like a blinky light. So if the ghost gets close, the bear will light up. Okay, so they do that because the bear is familiar as a toy to the child ghost. Same principle. We don't have many buildings this old that Anne would actually recognize.
Right.
So that's why this is a 50-50 shot. She said to be seen all over, but this is one of the prime spots.
Right.
So the story begins right in the middle of this building's construction. Try to follow me. There's a few twists in here.
Okay.
So I'll slow down on the twist. You guys seem like you're pretty receptive to things, so I don't have to slow down too much.
Yeah, okay.
But 1708, by the way, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. It's okay. It was an ironic joke. And every once in a while I get somebody that works for the government that's actually all about working for the government. And they're like, I actually had an FBI agent on one night. I'm like, oh
No
shit.
way.
Oh yeah, he was pissed. Because I was making cracks on the government all night long. But anyway, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress turns out to be Anne's mother. Is you with me so far?
Yeah.
The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. Got the gist of that story now?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's the illegitimate child because it's the 1700s.
Right.
Right? So, and by the way, treat her right because she'll kick you all the way up to Canada. Like, she kicked them out of the country. There's no airplanes. So they came here by boat. Yeah, that's a long freaking trek.
Yeah.
Right? So they land in Georgetown. So Dad bought a plantation up there. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, in case you're not familiar with the coast.
Yes.
So Dad bought a plantation, but Mom dies pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building, because it would have been here. So Anne back home in Ireland, though, was said to be a badass even back then. They say when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing's going to be exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different
That's crazy.
spirit boxes, and the other 2 people don't know what's going on. So again, we've had it all the time. But back to Anne. So fast forward, building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love, so she can earn her freedom, just like a man.
Right.
So that's what she's fighting for. So the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn interesting.
Yeah.
First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Because we've already mentioned her pirate name. So Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, got married. Anne Cormack became Anne Bonny when they got married. So that's where her pirate name came from. However, when she gets down to Jamaica and she's already married, she realizes that her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for.
Yeah.
This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. A few more years go by, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. So Calico Jack is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of from Disney movies, right? So that's who this guy is. He was a real person. So Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew, and wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Either one of you know why? It's bad luck. I see where the wheels were spinning kind of dirty. I seen both of you like, oh shit, that's raunchy, dude.
It's like, oh, a lot could happen.
A lot could happen, but it is bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, look like the crew, you can be part of it. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world.
Yeah.
But let's put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant.
Right.
You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl.
Right.
And then they're going to get rid of Jack because they do have a democracy on every single ship. They'll vote him off. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Have the baby here with friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back later and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
She goes and has that baby, but returns without a child. We don't know what happened to the baby. None of my research has ever found what happened to that baby. The interesting part of the story, though, is that she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off, because now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship.
Yeah.
To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. We're on guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, whenever. We're like going to know for sure because of age. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one measly pirate ship. Anne and Mary, rumor is, they were the only 2 pirates that came up to fight because they were not drunk. Everybody else was too drunk to fight. Yeah. But they only had 1 bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. So, obviously 2 ladies with flintlock guns, 1 bullet at a time, are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain and her beau, Calico Jack, remember he's not a husband, and says, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here a lot, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly.
Reading, did you hear that?
What was it?
Reading.
Reading?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We've had that here before.
Yeah.
Mary Reed.
Yeah.
It's spelled the exact same way. R-E-A-D. Sorry, English guy,
Yeah.
I pay attention to that shit.
No, yeah.
So the judge wants to see these 2 men. By the way, Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that didn't fight, they're already dead and hung. Like, they're gone. So the 2 ladies go in front, hoping to save themselves. They reveal their gender to this judge. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female.
Right.
They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them.
Right.
They screamed out, we plead our bellies, meaning they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal.
Yeah.
So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. So after their pregnancies are over. But Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary.
Yes.
You don't really know.
Yeah.
She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career.
Right.
Mary Reed dies 5 months later in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail.
Yeah.
Use your imagination. Most books will tell you it was something simple like fever. I say let's make it romantic
Yeah.
and call it scurvy.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? So here's what I left out. I'm not going to, tell you, all of the things that I still know about piracy, but things that I left out specifically just so you had something to work with. This is fair game here. This is not a prominent English woman we have to tiptoe around. So we can almost kick Anne in the shins, like give us some fucking answers kind of shit.
Right.
So I left out the name of her parents on purpose. That's the father and his mistress. So kind of keep that in mind. The name of Calico Jack's ship, I did not tell you what that was. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. That's an easy one. It's a 1 syllable. And if people are struggling with a spirit box, I usually tell them to ask for Anne Bonny's hair color. She's an Irish woman from the 1700s. What color do you think her hair is? It's more than likely red, right? Red hair, green eyes? Yeah, you pinpointed it right on the donkey. So again, the color red will show up here quite a bit just for those simple type of answers. And everything else is fair game. We're going to explore the lot. I want to take a look at what's going on with the imagery and the words. Constitutional is somewhat relevant. I want to see if something else pops up around it.
The 15's interesting.
Did yellow come up again?
No, that's the
Okay.
second. That's the second one. There's the first one. Second. The constitutional. Remember we talked about the 2 Charleses earlier.
Yeah.
One of them is buried right across the street.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for either something else to pop up around that. Just
33.
33. That could have been his age at the time of saying. Kind of see where I look at those kind of things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of have to put it all together.
Some abstract thinking.
Yep,
Yeah.
always outside the box.
If you hear something I don't.
Yeah, shut it out, man. Have Tourette syndrome. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're in a safe space.
I'm trying to listen and I'm multitasking.
33. I want to see the images that are going on here. Because again, if I start getting pirate images here, like, definitely going to have to move that thing up here. Which device do I have that running on?
Ooh.
Shadows.
Oh,
They
it's,
said
yeah.
it comes up on the shadows. So
Enjoy
that's what I had.
something.
EMF here is not like the Pinckney Mansion site. So if we get something, I'm super excited at a 2.5. Like I'm already getting almost like a medical bed.
Oh, wow. Did you hear Anna's? Anne?
Maybe.
That's like a desk with a computer on it. And we're using all the same boxes we normally use. Feel free to use any of them. Of course, this is one in my hand. I got the one that creates images that I've been teaching you about. And of course, we are listening to whatever you
Or like
want.
turmoil.
Turmoil.
Yeah.
It's an interesting term.
It's a rare word.
It is a very rare word.
Yeah.
You don't hear that every day.
No.
Keep moving shit around. I can't get used to where I want things.
His life.
Damn.
Yeah, I heard that.
Turmoil of his life.
What does that song say?
It's like a con.
And I like try not to smoke at the Pinckney Mansion site, but I smoke on purpose here because of who she was.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's get her going.
Yeah. Then maybe she'll like all her like me.
I mean, I don't tell people to not smoke over there, but I only took like 1 or 2 hits, and then I realized where I was at. Like, shit, not smoke here because it's gonna be rude for her.
Right.
And whatever you want to do, we'll take it. We're summoning you over here.
Something, I don't know.
What do you want? Find.
Like all of a sudden you'll find. Well, are we supposed to listen? We're not listening for like song lyrics though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Song lyrics
Those
too.
are in play.
Especially when it plays only a glimpse
All right.
and
It's
it
not
goes
about
to
who
the
you
next.
heard, it's
yeah.
about what you heard.
Okay.
I don't care that you heard Harry Styles.
Alright. Yeah. Sure about that.
Tell me that you heard As It Was.
I heard Michael. Just saying.
Okay.
Who did you bring with you?
I would hear my own name though.
Of course you would.
That stuck out.
What was that?
Themed movie.
I'm more just like this 33 is mind-boggling to me. Like I don't
Yeah.
know what that is. Like
Yeah.
that's a very specific number.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna have to look into Charles's
Race
age.
car.
Heard that.
That's a palindrome. Sorry, nerdy word guy coming out in me.
The writer's
love it.
showing up.
Well, the writer shows up when I give you that subliminal message at the very beginning. That's the only one that I play all night. I just like to know who the hell I'm working with.
Yeah.
With people.
I heard that. Yeah.
Come on, Ann, where you at? Give us some details. I'd like to see some piratey images.
How's the electrometer? You got anything?
Nope, nothing. What the hell is that? This looks like Knights at the Round Table, right?
Yeah.
I know where that is. That is interesting. So there's actually down at White Point Garden, is said to where Steve Bonnet's crew was actually hung. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah.
And there is a gazebo that looks just like that in the park. It is white with a red top. and they say you can see the faces
That's
of the.
cool.
But I've never had anything
Right.
happen there.
Right.
But I think it's ironic that I'm sitting here telling you pirate
Right,
stories,
and that pops up.
Right. This looks like some kind of warehouse
Yeah.
with an arcade in it, or a cigarette machine, like an old school cigarette machine. If either one of you remember those. Sorry, I'm showing my age again. You guys got a lot of images. Like the last time I did this, we
That's
didn't have this
cool.
many. Yeah, there's nothing going on here.
Yeah.
And the closer we get over there, we have 2 electrical poles
Right.
and the parking meter, so I kind of have to be careful. So when I pass this out, I just tell them don't get excited.
Right.
Because I'll get a 3 to a 5, almost guaranteed.
Do it all.
It's at a quick 16.
Oh, cool. And the
Blue.
blue.
It's from my
Blue.
I heard blue.
I got another freaking house. What the hell is going on with all these houses on here?
Yeah.
So weird. It was like I had a 7 or something, and then I was like, wait a minute, let me just take a step backwards, make sure it's not my phone. And then it came up with 16, and now it's at zeros, so it's definitely not
Yeah.
my phone.
Yeah. Nice and what?
Flies and something.
Flies.
Flies and
It's something else showing up. That is definitely not from this time period.
yeah. It's old
Yeah.
school.
And was this how your father made you dress? You can just say the word dress or daddy or anything along those lines. I'm good with that. Just don't give me yes, no answers. So flies.
Flies. Yeah. Something about flies.
Where'd that go?
Yeah. It sounded like a hello. So.
Another image. This looks like a lynching.
Just for free?
It's a congestion free, like it was an ad.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
I have no idea. And sometimes they're way more clear when you bring them up on the computer.
Yeah.
That is totally weird. 4.9. I'm just wondering if because my phone is really close to it.
Yeah.
I might tell people to separate their devices if they have to. It's not easy to listen to that, is it?
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to like make sense of like something actually like that seems valuable.
So when I get called to another team, because I do work solo,
Yeah.
that's the reason why. It's because I can use any spirit box on any speed and run Estes method sessions like you wouldn't believe. And they're like, none of that shit makes sense. I'm like, you didn't let me do the research yet.
Right.
Like, you gotta let me do the research to find out.
Pull it together.
Right.
Yeah.
Because obviously I use different resources than the typical Google search. And, come on, you can get a little bit closer. Or if somebody else is here, we'd like to know who it is, just tell us your name. Good with giving names. Pocket this and bring out the word list instead. 2 hands and trying to smoke at the same time.
Multitasking.
A lot of pockets, man. Oh, I had to shut off, so we'll see. Whoever's here, Charles, if you want to come over and say hello to us, give us something else a little bit relative to you.
something like that.
Raj.
As in like Roger?
Yeah, like Roger.
Calico Jack developed the skull and cross bones, but it was really the cross swords flag that we affiliate with piracy, and it was made for the Jolly Roger. We've had the name Roger here
That's
show up
cool.
several times. And not just on a regular spirit box, like wordless. And they don't spell it properly in here, but phonetically it's the same. They spell it R-O-D-G-E-R, as if it were like Roger's last name. These are so just remind me to write that down. So that's exciting. I still think the 33 is kind of high. It's
Yeah.
too specific. Whoever's here, throw us an image, or else we're going to call this one. Call it a wrap. You're not really giving us much. Imagery is what we want. It's one of the boxes in my hand. All you got to do is get close to it and kind of tell it what you want to show us. That's it. Nice and easy. Charles, Ann, Mr. Calhoun, if you're here, I'll take any one of you, whoever wants to come over and just prove that you're here. Gave us the word constitutional. I'd love to have something to verify that it was you, Charles.
Hate ground, I have no idea.
Yeah, I heard that.
What is that? I think I know what that is. You've heard that story. I know you have, because every tour tells it.
What is it that you're thinking of?
Sue Howard Party, her apparition.
Tell me more.
So 1888, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. 1987, a local photographer takes a picture, captures her full apparition in the picture with a baby basket next to her.
Okay.
Okay? Now, since then, the church put up a sign over at the cemetery across the street that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost.
No way.
And then there's a light shining directly that the church put up at that because they don't want jerks like me with cameras and whatnot trying to recreate the apparition. I want you to look at this photo again, knowing what I just told you.
Right. Yeah.
You see the light?
Yes. And like.
I don't definitely see a dress of some sort. I don't see the rest of the woman though. I see her
Right.
feet, like she's been hung.
Right. That's what I thought initially.
Now, does this not look like an embryo with a baby inside?
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I see
vague
that.
and it's a stretch,
I
but
see
I'm just
it.
telling you what I see.
Right.
I don't know what this little gremlin is here in the corner. but,
I like it. It's like all frog.
oh, I see it now. That's her hair. And she's reading a book. And what color is the hair?
Red.
So again, this could be relative to a number of things.
Yeah.
It's too vague at this point. So Anne, you're gonna have to give us a little bit more if that's you coming through. This is experimental. If you were just trying it out, experimental, try again.
Yeah.
Give us something else specific to you, Anne. Now, that Ouija board device that I told you about, we've had the letters SHH show up. Like almost like shh, but it's also Sue's initials. Sue
Oh.
Howard Hardy. We've had it come up I don't know how many times. But I don't always tell that story because the photograph is cursed to females.
Yeah.
So I know every other tour will tell you what that story is because that's their finale. They have something to show you, right? I don't always tell it because they're going to tell it to you anyway. The only thing I suggest is don't take the tablet or phone that they're handing that picture around on. Females are said to get the same symptoms like what we talked about at the beginning. So if you get those kind of symptoms, it's more than likely it's part of the curse. But if you're pregnant, let's say you're not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story of being a stillborn child. I'm not gonna be the guy where a young couple comes down here and has a great
Yeah.
vacation, and 9 months later, I cursed your freaking family. I'm not that guy. I take this shit
Thanks.
pretty seriously. You're welcome.
On Sundays.
Is this supposed to be the church across the street with the columns?
Wait, that's interesting. It says when the sun, even though it said when the sun don't, and like the sun was a word.
The sun did show up over here. I want to show you guys something over here.
He's a ghost.
Finally figured it out.
Okay. Alright. I don't have
You got
the,
some columns.
yeah, I don't see the windows the exact same way because their windows up here at the top are shaped the same way as the windows at the lower floor.
Close though.
It is damn close. Can you be more detailed? We also only have one grade there.
Oh yeah.
So if that's you, you gotta be more specific, please.
Hundreds.
Can you tell us what year you passed away? Or how old you were when you passed away? I'll take either one of those answers. I want to hear it. I appreciate you working with the new experimental device, the little box here I got. I try not to use the word device, spirit box, anything specific. These ghosts don't know what the hell this shit is. It's a box with lights. So when I'm introducing myself to a new ghost, it's a, hey, come to the box with the red light. You know what I mean? That's all that is. That's all I know. Flower. Be more specific. These are too vague. Government. You guys got anything else coming out of there? I think we have like some general things.
Yeah.
And this is honestly more than what I normally get out of this place.
All right.
So just so you have that idea. But constitutional government definitely ties into Chuck
Yeah.
across the street. The two images that we got definitely relative to what's her name, but could also be the red hair to Anne Bonny. I don't know.
It was interesting to hear like Reed and then Roger.
Yeah, because you heard Reed. Henry Timrod, if you were here, we got a picture of the cemetery when we were walking by that.
That was pretty sweet.
Such a good night for this. Henry Timrod, if you want to come through, please tell me your occupation. We're going to keep it nice and simple to start with. Yeah, you might want to stay a little bit closer. I mean, I don't like people staring in on what the hell we got going on. Two guys blindfolded, one girl in the middle of a dark park.
Yeah, not a good look.
Henry Timrod, can you come through and tell me your occupation, please?
Breath of Christian.
Henry, push through. If you're not Henry, are you giving us an image?
Very upset. Benefit of visiting.
Henry, can you push through? I need something more specific, please. I'm asking about your occupation.
For construction.
Henry, what sound are we hearing out of the church right now? Can you tell us what sound we just heard out of the church? You can show us using that image box again. It's just not attached to somebody's face tonight. It's laying on the bench. You can show us what we just heard. What sound was it? Henry, I know there's other people in here, but I really need you to push through. Henry, can you push through? Do you want to talk about something else? Another family member, maybe?
The laughter.
Henry, you know we only do this for 10 minutes. If you're not Henry, I need you to tell
I remember coming.
I need you to tell us your first name, please.
I heard a yes.
Who else do you want to talk about?
In the morning.
How about your lovely wife? That's a yes/no answer. Do you want to talk about your wife?
Oh, I heard a bell.
Thank you for that, Henry. I really, really appreciate you coming through. Do you want to talk about your wife?
8080.
Can you give me your wife's first name? Henry.
William.
Who was William?
Dancing.
Who was William? We're looking for verification that you're here. I know who William is. You need to tell me.
Hearts.
Henry, can you tell me who William was? It's a deep breath for her.
You know that's getting cold.
I don't know what this image is.
What a life.
You did have quite the life, Henry. I know it was short. I know there was a lot of suffering in there. Can you tell
John?
Who is William? I don't know who John is. But I know who William is if you want to tell me who that was in relation to you. That picture just went away like super fast. Normally it'll fade away nice and
I
slow.
wasn't even watching it.
Well, that's the reason why I'm standing right here, so I
Yeah.
can overlook it to see if anything matches up.
Something answer. Dress.
Henry, we're using all kinds of these boxes tonight.
Summer love.
Tell me how you met your wife. How did you know your wife? How did you get to know her?
She needs to be something.
She needs to be what, Henry?
I was in
Henry, how
nothing.
How did you meet your wife? Where did you meet her? He was her school teacher. She was only 16 when he met her. Creepy
It's
guy.
definitely a
Yeah, that's
guy's
rough.
voice.
How did you meet your wife?
This is just the past.
Well, I know it's the past, but your history is very interesting to me, Henry. Can you tell me how you met your wife? If I
It's time you start seeing.
Okay, well, start showing us. I got an image box right here. You can just tell it what you want us to see. How did you meet her?
Markets.
No, you didn't meet her at the market. How did you meet her? Try again.
I heard spiritually.
Okay. She's getting very jittery. Is she like this all the time?
Not really, no. I mean, maybe, I
Get
don't know.
your learning.
Learning.
Okay.
It's vague.
It's very fidgety.
It's very fidgety. It's not easy to be under there,
No,
just so you
no.
know. It's
No,
like
it's
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So, were you her school teacher? That's a yes/no answer, Henry? Henry, that's a yes/no answer. Were you her school teacher? She's really struggling. Very fidgety.
Come up. They thought that was too. Fever.
Henry, we only got a few minutes left. We're down about 2 minutes. I asked you a lot of questions. Thank you for telling us about the bell. Can you tell us who William was? Who was William? Okay, don't want to talk
President.
about. We are in George Washington Park, so that's
something.
yeah, and it's a stretch, but it's there. Can you
Yeah.
tell us what president this park is named after?
I was afraid.
Afraid of what? I want to know which president this park was named after. See how I ask a lot of real-time questions?
Yeah.
It's not always about, I want verification that he's here.
Right.
That bell thing happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I ask it.
Yeah.
We get it, and it shows up on the word list. It shows up on the Ouija board. It comes out of them. It happens.
That's wild.
Yeah, all the time. We've had the word
Hello.
bells spelled out on the Ouija board.
99.
Henry, we're gonna wrap this up. Do you want us to go home? I haven't even told him your history yet, but do you want us to go home? That's a yes/no answer. Everybody else is gone. Henry,
Wanting a billion's death.
can you tell me the name of the church that gave us the bell sounds? It's St. Michael's, just so you know.
Cold.
It's the second time she's heard that.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. We've been
How was this?
This was better than the past few times, but I still would like one more piece of solid, direct answer. If you can give me the name of the church, I'll be satisfied and go home.
I heard Charleston.
No, it's a church in Charleston. What's the name of the church? It's across the street. You gave us the sound of the bells that you've already told us about. What's the name of the church? Saint who?
So we drank.
Henry, one last chance. We're going to tap her out, and we're going to be done. Name of the church.
I'm not one.
One more answer. Come on, Henry. Oh yeah, she's been under 11 minutes. Go ahead and tap her.
Jessica.
Okay, she didn't jump. Yeah, let's go ahead and stop the video.